What's going on, folks? We are here today at the ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series. I'm Steve with Race Day. We are here with our good friend, Derek Yoder. How's it going, Derek?
Steve, doing well. Yeah, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing what everybody brings to the tricky triangle this week. So it should be a lot of fun to see all the action unfold tonight.
Yes, sir, man. I love this track. 2.5 miles, big triangle. Cannot wait to get this thing going right now. The TATER 200 is underway here momentarily. 80 laps of fast speeds and hard cornering. Right now we're going to be in qualifying, so we're going to jump down into the track. Here we go right now. Tim Robb currently on the track as well. Bunch of guys right now making their qualifying effort. Take a look at this. Right now we're seeing Mark Whitley up on the top of the leaders. He won 53.19. This place is very, very fast, Derek. I was here last summer for the Cup Series race here, and I had an absolute blast. And I cannot wait to get this thing going here. Keep in mind too, last season, you were mentioning it earlier in the pre-race. We were talking, man, this race last season was was pretty dramatic. We saw some fireworks between Brandon Six and Devin Smecker on the last lap, some beating and banging, and Nick Lights ended up coming through and winning that race. So a lot can happen today at this pretty difficult track.
Yeah, I mean, if we see anything half of what we saw last year for this race, everybody watching is in for a thrill. So maybe grab your popcorn, have a little fun, and maybe crack a cold one as well, because I think what we're going to see tonight is a lot of players, guys coming, maybe from the middle of the pack. I think starting way in the back might be a little tough, but, these guys are going to be fanning out 4, 5, 6 wide going down that front stretch. And you mentioned that you were at the race last year in Pocono. So was I. It was my first experience. Took my family up. So we have some good vibes here, Steve, going into Pocono this week.
Yes, sir, we do. Right now, this is also a Dash for Cash qualifying race. So keep that in mind, folks, as you watch the race right now. Basically, how that works is the top 4 drivers at the end of this race, top 4 finishers, they will be the qualifiers for next week's race at Rockingham. So next week at Rockingham, those top 4 drivers, they'll basically race similar to like a championship format where they'll race against each other, and whoever finishes ahead of the other 3 is the Dash for Cash winner. So some pretty cool stuff right now. Today, though, Pocono, this is going to be a big, wild ride. 3 races left to go in the playoffs. Pocono, Rockingham, and then Talladega in 2 weeks is going to be absolutely electric right now. Qualifying still underway. We're about halfway through, 5.5 minutes into qualifying. A lot of drivers here deciding to take their time, obviously, and wait for some cloud coverage. We're going to see some differing strategies here, Derek. Right now, stage 1 ends on lap 15, which is pretty quick for the most part. I mean, a 2.5 mile track. These laps are obviously about a little under a minute, so quick stages. But that last stage, going to be a long one, obviously. Lap 35 will be the second one. So we're seeing, the first half of the race pretty quick, and the second half is going to be, all about green flag stops, strategy, holding onto your tires. All those things matter here for sure.
So talk to me about fuel length, stage-wise. I mean, you touched on what the stages are going to be, but what about from a fuel perspective? What are we anticipating? Because obviously here, unlike most tracks we go to, you can't really go a lap down if you're a certain length behind the leader. So there's going to be some strategy there. Do you happen to know what maybe that fuel run looks like?
Yeah, from what I'm understanding from these drivers, basically a fuel load can go about 18 to 20, give or take. That might fluctuate depending on draft, obviously, or clean air, things like that, or the laps they're running. But typically it's around there, so they should be able to get through the stages just fine. On just their one tank. But that stage 3, they're probably gonna have to pit, well, once for sure, but 2 is a possibility if it stays green.
I hope it does stay green. That would be a lot of fun to see what strategy, especially as you talk about many times before when it comes to the team element of things. And the communication that I was listening to a couple of the teams do some debrief stuff prior to the race, just hearing some of that internal chatter, what's going on. And it sounds like we're definitely in for a thrill, but that strategy element, especially from the team concept, that will be a lot of fun to see how it plays out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a great race. A lot can happen here. I mean, yellow flags, we're sure to have them, right? But, I mean, this is a place that can show off those green flag runs, especially later on in the race. So we're going to find out real quick how that works. Mark Whitley right now on top right now on the pole. The 53.19, Nick Lights in P2. Going backwards on track like we know him to do. We saw this in Montreal. It's a little joking around. Love that. Nick Lights is our class clown. Gotta love it. Julio Villalobos right now.
Going backward. Right?
Exactly. Here we go. Villalobos right now. I'm going to try and put down his lap. We have 2 minutes left to go in qualifying. Bunch of guys right now on track. Kenny Reel, Brandon Six, Brandon Bowie. A lot of these Bowie Esport guys go last. Not sure if they want the TV time or if they think the cloud coverage might have give them a better shot here, but we're going to see how they do. Devin Sprecher.
You mentioned the weather there. What is the weather? What are we expecting? Cloud cover? We expecting? Is it all sunny? What are we thinking here?
Yeah, right now we're going to see partly cloudy skies. Track is pretty cool considering. It's about 69 degrees, give or take, air temp. So the track temp's probably going to be a little higher than that. But so we're going to see some nice conditions. I don't expect these guys to get loose a whole lot. But yeah, partly cloudy and, sunshine all day long. So going to be a good time. One thing to consider too, Brandon Six actually, as we talk right now on top of the board. There he is with the 53.19. So very, very fast. Frankie Barroso. Let's get to him. But what I was saying, this track is, we're going to see, some fluctuation. This is an afternoon race, so we're going to see this thing, get darker and darker. There's no lights here, obviously, but it's going to get pretty close to sunset, I would say, by the time we get to the conclusion of the race. So track temps will keep cooling down, and we're going to see these guys, battling some tighter conditions as we go. So we'll see how that works. Frankie, though, P5 right now, 53.27, last week's winner at Montreal. Great job there. And then Brandon Bowie came in 3rd place. So right now, Brandon Six is going to be your pole sitter, edging out Mark Whitley by about a 10th. So very, very good job right there for him. 80 laps ahead of us, Derek. What do you expect in today's race in this first stage? 15 laps.
Well, I think those that are starting up front, like Six and Whitley there, I think those guys are definitely going to be, and they were fast the last couple weeks, so we're going to see them get out, I think, to a good run. They're going to have a good idea of maybe understanding what their car is going to do in that clean air. But some of these guys, like you said, it's a quicker first stage. These guys back here in that 15 to 20 range, they're going to have to really be working their way up. And we talked about it a little bit, but Devin, 26 car, he's a guy I'm keeping my eye on. I think redemption comes for him this weekend here at Pocono, as he maybe pulls it into victory lane after a heartbreak at what it was last year.
I love that call right there. Great insight. Right now, Brandon Six, your pole sitter. Mark Whitley going to be in P2 right there. Harpoon Design Machine. Brandon Bowie in 3rd spot. There he is. Michael Johnson in P4. Good effort there by these guys. Frankie Barroso rolling out 5th place. Nick Lights in P6. This is last year's winner. Keep in mind, Nick Lights in that digital downforce number 2. Devin Sprecher rolling off P7. Roger Pierce in P8. Jimmy Graham, look at that right there. Starch.1. Love that paint scheme, man. Those yellow ghost flames. Whew. Looking good. Tim Robb right now in P10. Looking solid. Matthew Fleming in P11. Jacob Weiss in 12th place. Dunkelberger in P13. Joseph Mealy rolling off P14 in the All Things Go podcast. You might know a thing or two about that.
Might.
Jackson Anderson in P15. Good effort there for him. Next, Brady rolling off P16. That Carlos Pizza Machine. He's gotten really, really close to the winner's circle now this season, Derek. He hasn't quite gotten it yet, but I expect him to be a player here today for sure. Daryl Young rolling up in P17. Christian Angel rolling off 18th spot. Austin Salyers, there he is, P19. Julio Villalobos rolling off 20th. Blaze Crawford in P21. Matthew Pont, 22nd place. Nicholas Simpson, 23rd. Richard Woodruff in 24th. James Kaufman rolling off P25. 26th will be Kenny Reel. And then rounding at the field, Josh Larson out of Springfield, Missouri in P27. Great job by these guys. Long race ahead of us. Right now, though, Brandon Six, Mark Whitley. We've seen this story before. Brandon Six and Mark Whitley in season 4, Derek, they were fighting the entire season, even until the last lap of the championship race at Auto Club. And right here, they start P1 and 2, so we'll see if time heals all wounds. But here at Pocono, lap 1, we're going to find out pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I was also going to ask, I mean, knowing that they have some history, who currently in the field, maybe has a little history going into this race that may be repaying a favor, or, is there anybody out there? Because I love to hear some of these sound bites that we get sometimes, especially in between the stages where we can have people come up. So is there anybody that kind of catches your eye before we go green here that is, there's a little rivalry brewing?
I don't know about rivalries, but I'll tell you what. I just look at flashback to last season at Pocono. When it comes to Brandon Six and Devin Smecker, will that happen again? I doubt it. I think we're well past it. But either way, right now, pace car is going to pull in. We're going to go green here for the TATER 200. Here we go. Green flag is out, and we are off on lap 1. Turn 1 here is so treacherous. High-speed corners. Got to be careful here. Diving in deep. Looking pretty good right now. 3 wide in the back of the pack. Got to be careful. Joseph Mealy up there. Matthew Pont way up high as well. Some shuffling right here. Mark Whitley, Brandon Six side by side. Tunnel turn, Derek, is the hardest one of the whole track. You got to be careful here. Mark Whitley got real loose right there, man. Sends it too much. Lost a lot of time.
What a save, right? I mean, that is a race-defining save, even though it's the first lap. That keeps them in it. So, great first lap by these guys. Fanning out 4-5 wide. Great racing, like you said, up the tunnel turn. This is going to shape up to be a quick stage 1, but man, a lot of action already.
It sure is right now. Yeah, single file. We'll see that pretty close too. Devin Smecker gets into his teammate there, Jamie Graham. Got to be careful. Look at this in your picture right now. Murphy Esports all together right here, looking pretty good. Joseph Mealy, from what I understand, also dealing with being pretty sick in that 6 car, so made his way back out to the track. So much respect to him to get that job done right here. But 6 right now is the leader. Hold on, we saw him get a little loose. Turn 2, gotta be careful there. Turn 3, though, Derek, is extremely loose, right up against that apron, the yellow line. So these guys are gonna try and move up a hair above that, maybe like a lane and a half. Oh, Max Brady gets tagged. Early. It's only lap 3. You gotta be careful here. Cannot side draft too hard or beat and bang too much, but so far, though, we're holding it together. Jackson Anderson 3 wide in the middle here.
And this is one of my favorite races, too, because each of the corners are so vastly different. We go to so many racetracks, especially in this series, and each turn mimics the other. But this place is so different, with all 3 being so unique, and there's a lot of throwbacks to what the turns actually are. We can get into some of those later, but like you said, I mean, each one's different. You got to set the car up differently. You got to drive it differently in each turn. It's what makes Pocono so unique. It's why they call it the Tricky Triangle. So a lot of fun here already.
Yes, sir. Flying down the straightaway right now. Brandon Six is your leader, lap 4 out of 15 for the first stage. Seeing a couple guys up front right now that absolutely need to get a win, Derek. Right now we're seeing Michael Johnson in P2. He's gotten so close on the road courses this season, and very, very fast in that 39. Just hasn't found the winner circle just yet. If he does win today, that'll lock him into the playoffs, so that would be huge. Same thing, though, for Roger Pierce. Right now in that P4 spot, the lime green 76. The guy here, he has to get the job done. He has to win a race. We've got a feeling here mathematically to get himself into those playoffs. So a lot's to still go. I mean, Pocono, Rockingham, and then Talladega, right? Talladega, man, anybody can win that. So you never know what happens there, but still, must-win scenarios already.
Yeah, not only are you racing Pocono here today, but so many guys like you just talked about have a race within a race where they're trying to get into the playoffs or make some type of a statement or get into the winner's circle. So
Yes.
really interesting, very compelling. What are you seeing so far? Like anybody jump off the page that maybe didn't have a great qualifying effort, but they're moving up through the leaderboard? Anybody catch your eye?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're seeing, I mean, Mealy, he's the biggest leader right now, up 6 spots. So Mealy's making his way up to the field here, just past Frankie Barroso. So, I mean, great job for him. We're seeing some drop down. Mark Whitley down right now, 9 spots, currently in P11. So we've got some comers and goers here right now early on. But again, this is a track that I expect to see, tire saving is huge, right? You have to save the tires. You have to manage the fuel, not necessarily right now, but definitely later for sure. We're seeing some battling right here in the back. Daryl Young, Austin Salyers, side by side teammates here. 2x2 right here, back in about 20th spot. Jacob Wiest, Max Brady leaning on each other in turn 1.
I feel like Brady's been just dealing with a lot here. I don't think he loves the feel of his car. We saw, what was it, lap 2 coming off of turn 4 or turn 3, I'm sorry, where he was getting loose, almost hit the inside barrier. Now, side by side here, yes, he got cleared of the car behind him, but I just feel like there might be something on with that car. But these guys here that you're showcasing right here on the screen that are racing, behind some cars, they're able that, yes, their cars might feel like they're junk versus, 6 who's out in front, but that's who's gonna, I think, where the winner's gonna come from is these guys battling for position.
Yes, sir. Right now, we just saw Jackson Anderson and Christian Angel get a bit rowdy right there, tagging each other. This is one of those tracks, Derek, that we'll see quite a bit in, quite frankly, I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet, is a lot of these guys, they try and side draft down the front stretch. And when they do that, they clip the nose, of the car next to them, and then they get themselves turned. So side drafting is very difficult to do, and it is effective, but you have to know how to do it. And a lot of these guys, we're going to try that down the front stretch, even that Long Pond stretch, the second one, leading up to turn 2. So we're going to see how that works today. Right now, I mean, these boys are looking pretty good right now. Lap 7, halfway through this first stage, though.
Let me ask you this: is there any point, we talked about it a little earlier about when I was asking about that fuel line or where we could be at from, hey, who maybe pits on strategy? Is there any advantage to maybe somebody that's a couple seconds behind? I think you have to be about 5 seconds. So where Wiest is in 18th, it would be good. Where he pits early, just a little bit early, gets out to have some clean air out to the lead to start stage 2. Is that maybe what some of these guys might be thinking about?
Absolutely. I think we'll see that for sure. I mean, if you can make it on fuel in stage 2, if you pit a little early right now, if you're not going to be able to contend for right now, as we're seeing Brandon Bowie actually fighting for the contention right here for the lead. Bowie on the inside here of Brandon 6. His teammate can't get it done right now. 6 still leads, but yeah, to your point, I mean, we'll see some guys probably try and short pit. I wouldn't be surprised if they come down lap 12, 13, give or take. And if they think they can make it on fuel, I love it, right? Come down, take your tires now. The track is big enough where you're not going to go a lap down, most likely. And save, just get that fresh air, because this track right here, to your point, Derek, is all about clean air. Clean air here is absolutely king, and track position will be necessary.
I was trying not to use our line, clean air is king. I was wondering who was going to say it first. So you bit the bullet there. Who in the series, for the people that are listening at home, who do you feel like is the best at getting on and off pit road? Because obviously that's still a manual aspect that the drivers are doing. Obviously pit road, it might be a little bit different, but who do you think is the best getting on and off pit road in the series?
That's tough. I feel like I've seen Mealy do really, really well with that, the Murphy Esport guys. I feel like they practice for that. Right now we're seeing Brandon Bowie getting cleared of Brandon 6. So a new leader here on lap 10, though. Nick Lights is right there up against P2, Brandon 6. But yeah, the Bowie Esport guys right here, 23-66. I mean, these guys are very, very good. Frankie Barroso as well. So it's really, I mean, it's a lot of these individual drivers, you know, they do really well. You can tell who practices it right and who doesn't, because it's such a vital part of green flag pit stops, you know, and you save so much time. Roger Pierce right now making a dive down here for turn 3. This is for 4th spot. Ain't quite get it just yet.
I'm hearing from one of our pit reporters, and I won't use the source, but that you have to be within 4 seconds. I said 5. You have to be within 4 seconds to do a 4-tire change for fuel.
Right.
8 seconds if it's going to be a 2-tire change. So that comes from our pit reporter down. We'll call him Tricky. You know, Tricky the Triangle, or Tricky the Fox that is the mascot at Pocono. That's our pit reporter here today.
I like that. Perfect. So looking good. A lot of these guys right here are sliding around. Knowing that there's only 15 laps here, Derek, we're seeing a lot of these guys just completely waste the tires, right? Because it's a shootout at this point. So we're seeing Roger Pierce here shooting the gap here below Michael Johnson. Right behind him, we're seeing Tim Robb making a move against Jamie Graham. A lot of these guys are going to try what they can now to get it done. I need to get a zoomed-in shot of that paint scheme, man. Look at this. Cardano on the back end. Starch Industries on the side. Sponsoring today's race, the TATER 200. Look at that thing, man. Woo.
Yeah, that is nice. That is fire on the side, like you said. You got Cardano, who's on the back, getting some good PR there, and going to the front, just like the stock price. It's going up, so I like that.
Yes, sir. Right now, making a pass against Tim Robb. This is in that tunnel turn. Oh, little loosey-goose right there, but gets through it. Turn 2 is tough because you can't turn the wheel too much on exit because the car will want to go around. And then turn 3, you really got to take a super long and wide arc. Very, very difficult. Ooh, Devin Smirker, the first to come down pit road. You called it.
I did.
Lap 13. Here he comes.
I picked the win.
Right now, though, an absolute gaggle of cars fighting for that lead spot. And here I am going to get confused yet again. Nick Lights and Michael Johnson's cars from afar look so similar. It's very funny. But right now, Brandon Bowie up front. Nick Lights in P2. Brandon 6 fell back a little bit. P5 right now for him, so maybe some discovery here, trying to find out what the car can do.
Yep.
Not a bad move, though, right here. Brandon Bowie looking pretty solid.
It kind of goes to my point earlier when we were talking about 6 being out to the lead, and these guys that are shuffling around these other cars, they're getting a better idea of what their car can do. Now 6 falling back behind dirty air in traffic, not having that same comfort as he did when he was out the lead. So now we're just going to see how it all shakes out here in these final few laps before the stage ends.
Yes, sir. This is it right here. So this is the last lap for the stage. Brandon Bowie up front. Has won a race so far this season, but he's looking to do what he can as far as getting this done. Going to block that lower lane, block the draft.
Mm-hmm. Good lessons for these guys too, preparing for the end of the race. How to block, how to take the air away. So this is good.
And there it is. Brandon Bowie going to be your stage 1 winner here in Pocono. Awesome, awesome job here for him. Looking good. Stage winner for Brandon Bowie. Very fast so far. I'll tell you what, though, a lot of those guys in the top 5 can definitely make it done. I mean, they seem very, very fast. Lights, I mean, 6, Bowie himself. A lot can happen here, but great job by Brandon Bowie to get this thing done. We're going to wait just a second, wait until they come down pit road, and then we'll talk to him and then go and thank a few sponsors. But right now, getting word right now that actually there might have been a slight rule infraction from our good friend from our good friend Devin Smecker. So he did come down pit road, but the rule is in this league that you can't come down pit road. Pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stages, right? And he crossed into pit road right after the leader crossed the finish line. So that might be a technical foul on the 26th. We're going to find out. Yeah, we're going to find out real quick from race control. But yeah, we'll give them the final word as the leaders here catch the pace car. So right now, let's hit a quick couple of commercials. We still have a couple more seconds here before they pit. We'll come right back, folks.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Alrighty, folks. Welcome back to the TATER 200 here for the ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series. Right now, we're going to be bringing in our leader, Brandon Bowie, currently, who was the Stage 1 winner. Let's bring him in real fast and see if we can talk to him if we can. Here he is, Brandon Bowie in the 23. How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, right now, Stage 1 winner, looking pretty fast. What's that car feel like today?
I will say she is definitely feeling pretty sporty. Honestly, I should have probably had the pole as well, but I kind of missed that. Wasn't paying attention at the time, and probably should have had the pole there. But, you know, it is what it is. I got the stage. I'll take that. You know, but these guys are definitely not slow. You know, you got Nick Lights, who was definitely putting on pressure, and my teammate MJ and Brandon Six put pressure on me as well. So, but now it's all different now. Different front rows, so it's gonna be interesting to see how these guys do on the 2 tires and I think a lap or 2 older. So it'll be interesting. I'll be gotta keep your eye on everything that's going on around here.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, man. Well, hey, good luck rest of the way and have fun out there.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Alrighty, there he is, Brandon Bowie, Stage 1 winner, looking very good today. Very, very fast right now. Devin Smecker up front right now, and Roger Pierce, but we did get word that he was going to get the EOL. I'm not sure if he's actually listening to that or not.
No, I think what my daughters typically do is they just choose not to listen sometimes. I think that's what he's doing. He's just saying, you're going to have to park me or something, because so the strategy was great, right? The execution was not great. So like we were saying, you know, before these guys are going back, just should have done it a lap before and could have been a whole different story, because he was in that 4-second gap. So this is going to make my pick for the race to win a whole lot more interesting. Might give us a couple sound bites, but man, that's a bummer for that team.
It is. It looks like right there that might have been under protest, or maybe he was talking to race control about the scenario. But at the end of the day, race control is the ultimate authority. I mean, they are basically the living embodiment of the rule book, right? So gotta abide by that. But either way, right now, a whole new front row. Look at this. We're seeing Jackson Anderson and Roger Pierce up front. Both of these boys need some wins. Can this be the start of a good race today? Right now, here we go. Green flag. Roger Pierce leads us back off. Here we go, diving down into turn 1. This is so crucial.
And Steve, this is just
Huge wreck. Hold on, right in the back of the field. Josh Larson right now. We're seeing Daryl Young, Jacob Weist, and Devin Schmecker involved as well. Oh no, Austin Salyers. Apollo Motorsports looking pretty banged up. Max Brady potentially involved. Richard Woodruff. Man, oh man, lots of cars involved right there, including Devin Schmecker, the one that just got the EOL. Let's go back and take a look here at the yellow. Looks like it might have involved Larson and Weist right there. We'll go back a little further. We will find it, I promise. Okay, here we go. So right now we're seeing Larson at 51. 3 wide. Jacob Weist in the middle. Austin Salyers. Oh, Larson just comes up. Yeah, Larson just comes up thinking maybe he's not 3 wide. And off we go.
And not a good situation there, like you're saying. 51 coming up, not seeing the car on his outside, 3 wide, you know, and just putting everybody into a bad spot. You said the EOL penalty for Devin. Now he's SOL after getting in that wreck there. So a lot of cars here damaged in what we're going to call the big one here at Pocono.
Yeah, Long Pond Straight right now, and just starting stage number 2, and that's a big wreck for a lot of these guys, unfortunately. But that's sometimes what happens. I mean, these restarts definitely, you know, get that, make that happen, right? So, unfortunately, stage number 2, we're seeing Jacob Weist on pit road. Might not have a lot of damage here for Weist, but definitely enough to be concerned. Josh Larson actually doesn't seem too bad, considering he was involved in that quite a bit. So, has some right side damage. Don't really see the front end just yet. We'll try and get a better angle. Actually, not looking too terrible. Left side has some damage. Same thing with Weist here in the back, but Weist maybe in worse shape than Larson. But again, long race. Brandon Six coming down. Nicholas Simpson coming down, as well as Daryl Young. A bunch of guys, actually. Choosing tires. Schmecker involved. So that changes a lot of things, right? I mean, you know, you go from you know, just having a great stage 1 to a big caution right after. And these things happen. Big tracks and wide, you know, wide circuits. These things can happen, Derek. But a lot going on already.
Yeah, what was a calm stage 1 is now already a hectic stage 2. So a lot of different strategy, like you were talking about. But the one thing I was going to say right before that wreck happened, and I'm glad that we were able to capture it in real time, was, you know, if you saw the guys starting on the front row, they went with a different strategy, and the outside line got shuffled back, and that just shows you, you know, obviously clean air is king, but 4 fresh tires are still playing a factor in this. I mean, you got to get a good start, but if you're on the outside and you don't get that good start, you know, you're going to be back in 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th in that area before you get off of turn 2, and we were seeing that really start. So I wonder if some of that even was bunching some guys up in the back. We probably would have seen something a little bit even bigger come to the tunnel turn.
I mean, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, and right now we're seeing, you know, differing strategies already, right? Roger Pierce, here we go at the choose car right now. So yeah, lots going on here. Roger Pierce, you know, Jackson Anderson, a lot of these guys, you know, I'm one when I race in these races, right? I like the strategy of keep me in the front at all costs, right? Because I never want to be in that mid to back of the pack where I can get into a wreck like we just saw. So those are race enders typically, right? So you don't want to get yourself involved in those. And, you know, even if the strategy while you're up front, like Roger Pierce right now, he'll probably have to come down pit road and, you know, and pit for fuel or whatnot. Maybe he took no tires right now. You know, we'll see how that works out for him. But the track position is so key to be able to stay up front. That clean air really does matter. Clean air on older tires can make you feel like you've got new tires because you're you have that aero advantage. So either way, we're going to find out pretty quick what we do here in stage 2. We're going to go back green with 22 laps to go. Stage 2 is going to conclude at lap 35. So a long way to go still, not quite at halfway, but stage 1 was nice. We're going to get some green flag racing here for sure. We've already seen it, but sometimes these things happen. 3 wide, blind spots, tough track.
Very tough track, like you said. I mean, this is a track that's going to test these guys all race long. And you mentioned the schedule coming up as well. I don't really know if there's a track that we're going to before the playoffs that really makes anybody feel, warm and fuzzy, if you will. I mean, you said Talladega, you got Rockingham, I believe it was next week, and then here is a major strategy race. So really unique circumstances playing out.
Yeah, and ironically, Rockingham next week, we did last season as well, and it was one of our better races of the season. Very, very clean, very fun for these guys, and I expect the same. And then Talladega obviously can be that wild card, right? Anybody can win, anybody can do well, so all comes down to, who puts themselves into that spot. But we're seeing some different drivers up here again. Roger Pierce, Nick Lights on the outside, Jimmy Graham, Jackson Anderson not too far back here as well, so a lot of different players here as we get down and through stage number 2. Pace car going to come off right here. Roger Pierce leads us back off alongside Nick Lights. And here we go, back green for the TATER 200 of Starch Industries. Here we go. Looking good at the front right now. Brandon Bowie, Nick Light side by side. We're still seeing 2 wide right here, 3 wide potentially. Dunkelberger almost got into Mealy right there, it looks like. Got really, really close. This is where we saw the issue before. But right now, Mealy going to be sliding in on the inside lane to Blaze Crawford. Very, very sharp. Look at this lead here change. Roger Pierce on the outside getting pushed by Nick Lights. We're seeing fresh tires behind him. Big checkups right here, right in the back. Mark Whitley. 4 wide right here. Brandon Bowie up. Oh, my word. Absolute chaos. Frankie into the wall. Villalobos into the wall. We're going to see a huge wreck here. Anderson kills it. And Richard Woodruff in the back of the field, too. Oh, my word. That was a lot.
Steve, there was stuff happening off of the tunnel turn until they wrecked. They were wrecking for literally half a lap. And I'm just sitting here letting you play it out. And I just could not believe they didn't wreck until they watered it all up.
Yeah.
But they're acting like this is the last lap, and they're all trying to go for real estate that's not even there, especially on the outside. And these guys hitting off the wall, coming back down the track. So, like I said, maybe 5 minutes ago, what was a nice stage 1 is a very hectic stage 2. And these guys that pitted, I mean, you saw 6 right there. I mean, you saw these guys that pitted that were out front now get into some of these wrecks.
Yeah, right now we're seeing Mealy just comes across the lanes of traffic here. Man. Tim Robb gets killed right there a little bit. Brandon 6 maybe gets pumped in here as well as Christian Angel. I want to go back even further because you're right. This thing just, I didn't even know how to call it. Everything just kind of went down all at the same time. So we're seeing 3 wide here. I want to go up front to Mealy. So we're seeing Anderson way loose down by the apron. We're going to see Bowie get loose right here, getting into Whitley just a little bit. Tim Robb in that 57, he might get into the 6. We're going to find out. Yeah, just hits him in the wrong spot. Sends him. And then, yeah, Mealy narrowly misses Dunkelberger into Villalobos. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for a lot of these guys. Villalobos gets some damage, not terrible. Anderson just hits the brakes, and Woodruff had nowhere to go. So tough break.
I was going to say, this plays right into what I was saying as well. Like, the 83, he took a strategy by getting out front, being on the front row, backing some things up. I mean, he doesn't have the fresh tires that some of these other guys do. You can just see the speed element, which really got everybody jacked up. And then him maybe touching a little bit of the grass, getting a little loose, but everybody was trying to work around him. And Cost a lot of people some days here.
Yeah, I'm getting word to use Josh Larson's camera view, so let's take a look at this. From the cockpit, let's get a look. Man, look at this, Derek. All kinds of a mess. Whoa!
Whoa.
Through the uprights.
Everything was good until he needed those dude wipes at the end there. So that's good on him.
Wow, that was really, really close. Great call right there. That was wild. But either way, 25 laps in, we're 10 laps away from stage 2 conclusion. Roger Pierce is the leader. Nick Lights in P2, Jimmy Graham in 3rd spot. Yellow lights are on the pace car, so we have some time here to go and thank some sponsors. So we'll come right back to the TATER 200 after a few words here.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the TATER 200. Big thanks to TATER and the Starch Industries and all the families for Hosky and Cardano joining us today. Big fans of them, and you should be too. A lot of cool stuff that they have. And right now here at Pocono, pretty crazy stage 2 so far. Right now, stage 1 was green flag racing, and stage 2 has gotten pretty hairy. We're going to go back green here on lap 27, so about 8 laps to go in stage 2. Roger Pierce, Nick Lights, your front row. So big, 2 big yellows, Derek, and we're seeing everybody still in the race, but a lot of guys are down bad, I guess the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, so they are down bad. I agree with that. And we were just talking offline. It's interesting seeing Devin, who made a mistake in stage 1 with the pit, had an EOL issue there, got called out for it. Now, after all those major wrecks, he's right back up in 11th and really kind of got a mulligan for making that mistake. So a lot of players here coming into this. We have 9 laps left before the end of stage 2. And I mean, the storylines are not done when it comes to this stage or race at all.
Agreed. Yeah, right now we're going to see some great racing. Lap 27, let's see if they can hold it together until stage 2 concludes. Pace car going to pull in. Here we go. Green flag about to be in the air. Geico restart zone. Roger Pierce leads us back off into green. Three wide right now for P2. Blaze Crawford gets a great jump and enters into turn 1 with that P2 spot. Great effort right there. Further on back, we're seeing 2 wide still. Joseph Mealy in P9. Gotta be careful of that turn 2 wall. We saw Austin Salyers hit it just a little bit. A lot of these guys fighting. Look at this. Side by side, Max Brady. Oh no, Max Brady gets into his teammate, Dunkelberger. got to be careful here. Lap 27. That's the thing about these stages, Derek. They just create urgency, right? And I think that's the issue, I guess, when it comes to, these guys. They know that it pays 10, the top 10 pays points. They got to get themselves into position to do that. But crazy good racing so far. Right now, P1, Roger Pierce still has that spot. Blaze Crawford in second place, but third on back is getting pretty hairy. We're seeing Mark Whitley fighting Devin Smecker right now. 3 wide further on back with Michael Johnson. Oh, no. Big wreck. Simpson involved here. And Mealy right back here as well. 2 wrecks happening at the same time.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see this replay because, like you said, there were 2 wrecks that happened at the same time. I'm curious to see if, the 6-car incident, who was out in front of the other incident, really had a part to play in that. Maybe guys just trying to dodge him, but man, he was just up there at that restart, like we were just talking about, in contention. A little different story now.
Yeah, so Mealy involved in a wreck again. This time, or last time really wasn't his fault, but let's take a look at this real quick. We'll watch this one first. So Brady and Mealy coming off of turn number 1. Mealy hits the wall pretty hard right there. Gets into Brady. And then, man, I'm not sure if his wheel was locked or what was going on there, but he just didn't stop turning left. We'll get one more look here.
I think I can call that one. That looked like he was trying to help him hit the other side of the wall. I could be wrong. That's what it looked like. So, we were talking about maybe some rivalries and some contention. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's the start.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of seeing that. He was turning left right there, and he could have gotten him. He could have gotten off of him, I would assume. So, not sure what the deal is with that, but we'll definitely take a look back at that. Let's take a look at the Nick Simpson incident as well, because that also happened in conjunction with what we just saw. Oh, he's already backwards. So let's go back furthermore. Already happened as well. So yeah, these 2 really just happened at the same time. So we're gonna have to really find. Here we go. So Nick Light's in that 46 right there, 3 wide in front of him. He's gonna dive it down low. He's 3 wide right here, 4 wide really. Just had nowhere to go. In a situation like that, you should really kind of pull out and not force the issue right there. But yeah, big moment there for Nick Simpson. I believe he gets involved with Kaufman right here. Well, not quite. Okay, good. Might just be a single car incident for him. Looks like that's the case. So, yeah, another big incident right here. Lap number 30. So this is not going to be the stage end in this league. If a caution comes out within 5 laps of a scheduled distance of the race, the stage, they'll call that the stage finish. So this is not going to be it. So we'll have one more go at it. Right now, there are a lot of cars coming down pit road. This is interesting. A lot of these guys, see, now this is what they're going to do, Derek. A lot of these guys here, they're going to take their fuel, the tires now, and then just ride it out for this next 3, 4, 5 laps, whatever it is. And then that'll be it. They'll be in the front. They'll have their tires. They'll have their fuel. This is what, Devin and them probably started to try and do earlier on. So a lot of different things can happen. Roger Pierce looking to try and get a stage finish here, stage win, but a lot can go down here. So
yeah, you're gonna have to make a graphic here for everybody watching at home. Maybe who has not been in an incident yet. This has been a couple big wrecks to start this stage, and we're coming to the end here in 5 laps. It's going to be a shootout, so I would say I'm going to set the over-under here for green flag laps at the under of 1.5. I think we see a caution within 1 lap of going back green. So, man, it's going to be hectic and wild. And I think you said urgency was the key word earlier.
Yeah, I think right now, these stages, right, they just naturally create urgency because they know they pay points, right? And they got to get themselves into position to do that. And it's funny because we see this a lot, especially in this season. We've seen some crazy stages once in a while. whether it be stage 1 or stage 2. But then it really gets pretty good second half of the race, because there's no more stages. They know the race finishes is the next guaranteed, conclusion, right? So it's we've seen that a lot this season, and the stages obviously, it creates that end of the race atmosphere all the time because they want those extra bonus points. So either way, though, it creates strategy in different environments and narratives. So we're seeing a lot of these guys topping off on fuel. And we're seeing, what's interesting here, Derek, is that we're seeing, team driver like, Frankie and Devin Smecker right behind him. We're not really seeing full teams making this move. We're seeing individuals doing it. And I'm seeing a lot of these guys who have already won races. Frankie's got 3 wins. Devin's got 1 win. All these guys, they can risk, making calls like this, right? I mean, so I think it's pretty smart to kind of experiment here. You're already locked into the playoffs, so why not try something different to maybe get yourself the advantage later on?
I absolutely agree. I mean, take advantage of all these cautions, all these incidents, the drivers dropping out because of, damage to their cars, and not having enough players, as we see the choose cone happening, taking effect right now. And I think, credit to the 76. Made a strategy, staying out front. The 83 was involved in a wreck prior where he was starting out front to start this stage, and he got shuffled all the way back. And the 76 is looking like a genius at this point with, taking the risk, getting up front. We weren't talking about him at all in stage 1, and now look at him. He's led the entirety of this stage because of cautions and now strategy. So this is going to be a very, whatever his best restart was before, this has to match that, because I said there's going to be a caution within 1 lap, and, if he can at least keep it within the top 5, a win for this team to start this stage, or to end it, I should say.
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, these guys are looking pretty good. Harpoon Design Racing Team has looked very good this season so far. I mean, Gareth Lipinski, not here today, but has a race win at Michigan. Mark Whitley just won our Coke 600 event, or what we modeled it after. So a lot of guys looking pretty good here, but you're right. Roger has looked the best right now in stage 2. Sometimes just getting that track position is just so key, and we're going to see him, lead this field once more into stage 2. If we get a caution, that's going to be it for the stage. But either way, the stage yellow will come out on lap 35, so they'll have technically a 2-lap shootout. So this is basically a green-white checkered, a natural green-white checkered here for the stage end. So pretty cool stuff. We'll see how this works. And that first spot gets such a great jump of P1. So he should have a pretty good advantage here. I don't think that the tires that Blaze has, or, Jamie, these guys in the back, will help a whole lot. But we'll see. We're going to find out right now. Lap 32. It's going to get hairy here, Derek.
Yeah, I think it is too, and I think Jamie being in the 62 is probably in the best spot. A little fresher tires, like we talked about. Yeah. I got something I want to say about the 62, assuming he scores the stage win here. But I think he's in the best spot going into this here, what might be the final restart before we end the stage. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Buckle up.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Pace car going to be turning in. Starter has the green flag. We have 2 laps to go to decide stage number 2, and off we go. Much better restart there for Blaze Crawford on the outside line. What can he do here to get himself past your leader? 2 wide right now, entering turn 1. Roger gets a great jump right there out of turn 1. Wow, very impressive. Mark Whitley into the wall. Brandon 6 got clobbered right there. Coming down into the tunnel corner. Blaze Crawford right behind him. Has the advantage, maybe. Yes, he does. That 12 trying to get around the 76 for that stage win. Big wreck behind. Kenny Reel, Matthew Pont. And that's going to be the yellow here for stage number 2. Kenny Reel, Matthew Pont collected here into a wreck. Oh no, Nick Simpson again, and Josh Larson way late after the yellow came out. Either way, we'll cover that.
I tell you.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions, man. It's crazy.
Take the under. Anybody out there, take the under. The 1.5 laps. Nope, can't run it on the green. So what
That's
a
right.
win though for that 76 car. And I'll say it again. I think that was I mean they led the whole stage. That's
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
Great stuff. That's what it takes. Sometimes that strategy call can make it happen. And right now, that's the boost that Roger Pierce might need here to probably maybe even get this win. That's a huge effort right there. Didn't use up a lot of those tires either. So, you know, do you take tires now? Do you not take tires? We'll find out here, and we'll talk to him in just a second. But let's real quick, before they come down pit road and before I lose the ability to do so, take a look back at that replay. See if we can find out what happened, because, man, they just getting crazy again. Seeing no patience around here in Pocono. Oh, man, the 11 and the 1 just tight together. I'll try and rewind it just once more and see if we can. Here we go. So the 1 right there. Yeah, and the 11 just come together. Not sure if that was netcode. Potentially, sometimes that can happen in the sim here. But, yeah, tough break. That brought the caution. But then Larson, I believe, and Nick Simpson had a moment. Let's take a look here. Oh, Larson just, yeah, he tried to slow down for it and didn't quite have enough room there. So unfortunate. Yeah. So here we go. Everyone coming down pit road, all your leaders. This is a big one right here. So no more guaranteed yellows. This is going to be it. Stages are over. Right now we're seeing everybody come down pit road. Roger Pierce, your leader. We're seeing Nick Lights, Devin Smecker. A couple of guys stayed out. Nick Lights, Smecker, Young, and Frankie Barroso. We kind of knew they might do that as we saw them pitting right before that caution came out. So interesting call here. A lot of these guys, look at this. Dunkelberger taking 2 tires. Johnson. And then a rush off pit road right here. A lot going on here, Derek. But right now, let's bring in Roger Pierce. Once he gets back onto the track and gets comfortable. There he is. Let's bring him down here if we can. Here he is. There he is, Roger Pierce, man. Hey, congrats on winning stage 2, although you didn't really do much racing. That was a lot of yellow flags and kind of pacing around. But, man, how's it going out there? How's the car feel?
Well, 2 tires was a little tight. I thought I was going to loosen it up, but it did the opposite. So it's going okay. Clean air is king, for sure here. We ran good here last year, and we got in that wreck. So I'm just kind of biding my time, riding around. You know, at the end there, Blaze had better tires, but I just shipped it into one, and it kind of fit like one of those gloves.
Yeah, I mean, how's the car feel in the track field? Because right now, a lot of the guys behind you are just like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of patience right now. So why do you think that is?
Oh, because you can't pass. So restarts are your only opportunity to pass. I mean, it took us 10 laps to get, like, I was in that top 5 in the first stage. We were all in that single file line. I couldn't do anything if I didn't have help. It's so difficult right now. So everyone's just taking every run they get. It's like a super speedway, if you will. Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is. Okay, well, hey, great job, man. Stage 2, big win for you. You need that momentum and that luck to turn around. So good luck rest of the way, man. Hopefully we see you back in victory lane or the top 3 at the end, dude. Good luck.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, there he is, Roger Pierce. Looking pretty good right now in that 76. Trying what he can, obviously, to win this race today. He needs this win, Derek, to get himself into the playoffs, and this is a good start. He's had some pretty bad luck this season thus far, so a lot can happen, though, in the next 40 or so odd laps. Let's real quick go and thank a few sponsors as we have the time to do so before we go back green. We have at least one more lap to go, so we'll come right back, folks. Stick around.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Alrighty, folks, we are back for the TATER 200 here at Pocono, lap 37. So we're going to get stage 3 underway here. We're going to have just a little bit more than halfway to go here in the remainder of the race. So we should see some more calm emotions here, Derek. I think we're going to see a lot less crazy yellow flags and things like that. We'll see, but a lot can happen here. Green flag racing is no stranger to Pocono. But either way, different drivers up front right here. We're seeing Nick Lights and Devin Srecker up front. Frankie Barroso and Daryl Young as well. So a lot of these guys didn't pit at this stage yellow. They pitted earlier, right before the stage ended. So here we go. Nick Lights, last season's winner here, leads us back off. What kind of restart will we see here, Derek? Hopefully not crazy ones, but fresh tires are behind them. You gotta be careful here. 3 wide already entering turn 1. So far, so good. Tunnel turn right now. The top 3 looking pretty fast. Dunkelberger sends it in right there. Gotta be careful with that. He sends it in too hard and blew the corner. If a car was next to him, Derek, that would have been it for him.
Yeah, that would have been it indeed, and they're not even done. Look, we're getting loose 39, getting loose 6s up there. Got 4 wide. That usually doesn't work off the turn. Let's see if these guys make it work, and they do. Look at that.
Yeah, Michael Johnson
Awesome.
in the 39 just was sideways, but he saves it. What a great job for him. Brandon 6, 3 wide. Entering turn 1 once more. So hard to make this happen. Roger Pierce nailed it. I mean, he said, hey, it's so hard to pass at this track. They got to do it right now. And this is the case. We're seeing 2 wide, 3 wide even. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, I think this is what I was most looking forward to all night, all day, was this stage right here. Looking at 41 laps here to go till the end of the race. We're going to have no manufactured cautions where there's no stage breaks. These guys are going to be able to run it out. You talked about it earlier before we started the race. You anticipate maybe seeing things get strung out a little bit. We have various strategies. We got players, different guys coming up. And Smecker, we were talking about him earlier in the race, out of it, back in it. So, man, these next 40 laps are going to be just so much fun to watch, especially from that strategic element.
Yes, sir. A lot going on right here in the back of the field. Looks like Tim Robb battling Villalobos. Villalobos was involved in an incident earlier, but looks like he's pretty good right now. That car looks pretty clean. Keeping it going, saved the damage and the fenders. tunnel turn looking pretty crazy right now. Roger Pierce falling back just a little bit, but has the fresh tires still up against these guys. Lap 40s right now, so we're halfway through this TATER 200.
Steve, take me a little bit behind the visor here. You said you've raced here. You know, you like to really be somebody that stays out front. What are you thinking now? You're in this pack here. Let's just utilize Graham for a little bit. And 13th, we're getting a little hectic here. What's the strategy? What are you thinking? What are you trying to do with 39 laps to go?
I mean, this is tough, right? I mean, at this point, I'm focusing more on the management of my car, right? So it comes down to fuel mileage. You know, at this point, I'm thinking, you know, fuel mile. Oh, Brandon Bowie gets a loser there at the tunnel turn next to his teammates. These guys are getting pretty crazy, though. For me, I'm thinking about, you know, fuel, and I'm thinking about my tires, right? So I want to know, you know, what lap do I need to hit right now to get myself, you know, more fuel to get myself to the end of the race. So, and that's not going to be for a little while here, maybe 15 more laps. But that's what I'm thinking. Am I going to race hard before then? Probably. I want to maintain my spot, right? But it's tough because you need to not kill the car either and have a caution come out. So I'm okay with letting some of these guys pass me, you know, as they blow their tires off, and then I save my tires. So it just all comes down to situationalness and where you are on track.
See, and that's why I like asking those questions, because I knew you were going to have the insights and the answers to kind of help me, you know, the listener as well out there, just trying to get an idea. But, you know, go back to our first point that we talked about in stage one, kind of what that second, you know, how many seconds behind do you have to be before you pit, don't get a lap down. And this, I mean, you see what Lights is doing right now and putting these guys, he is just ripping off some laps. I mean, he's got guys almost, you have to go the whole way down to about, you know, 14th at Fleming, where if Fleming pitted right now, he'd be okay, but everybody else behind him would have to pit. So Lights is flying right now.
He is right now. I saw Anderson in 6 right here, just door to door the entire time. I'm not sure what they were doing right there, but that was very, very weird. Mark Whitley trying to do what he can to right behind him. A lot of fast cars in this pack right here, but they just can't get through again because of that track position. Lots of racing though here. Jamie Graham, Roger Pierce trying to do what they can. Long way to go though still. 37 laps to go. Right now, Derek, as we're on lap 44, we're seeing Nick Lights, to your point, up front with Devin Sprecher. This is a great time for our Bring the Noise segment, sponsored by HarpoonDesign.com. Go and check them out, folks. They can make paints for anything NASCAR on iRacing. But right now, let's bring the noise. Here we go. And there we go. Big thanks to Harpoon Design to get that done for us, to bring the noise segment right now. You can just see the gap in that segment. The top 5 are pretty much gone right now, Derek. Dunkelberger in that 5th spot. Brandon 6th in P6. Some breakaway packs here a little bit. Seeing single file racing. Things starting to calm down.
Yeah, they really are. I'd be interested as we were going through that segment there, which is great. I appreciate Harpoon Designs to allow us to do that. I'm curious if we can go do an onboard for a lap, and I don't know if you have the technology in front of you where years ago there was an onboard that would tilt with the degrees of banking and they would go in the turn, but I find this track so compelling as we're now here. We're riding here in the car, and what makes this track so unique, and we're going to go into turn 1 here, it's a 14-degree banking, which is the most steep, it's the steepest bank of all turn as we come off. This mimics what Trenton Speedway used to be, and if for any of the drivers or listeners out there, this is where you think, all right, I can catch my breath. Well, you catch your breath for about a half second before we get to the tunnel turn, which is a lot like Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which luckily this Cup Series is going to be going back and racing the oval. And then here you go. If that wasn't enough, take a quick second again, because when we go into a 6-degree banking, which is a lot like the Milwaukee Mile, you have 3 different types of turns that really, and then the longest stretch, this is like an airport runway, if you will. So it just gives a whole variety of, to the listener out there and what we're seeing here as well, what these guys are feeling, as it's just a complex track, especially in this stage where guys are trying to find speed and figure it out. So appreciate you letting us do that there. But man, what a track this is.
Yeah, I will say, pre-race, when I went to Pocono last season and back in July, the one thing that I got the privilege to do was go onto the track, because they let you sign the checker flag or the start-finish line and things like that. And when I went out there, I just looked to my left and to my right down the straightaway, and I couldn't believe how long this thing was. It was crazy. It wasn't real, right? It just looked like it was just so long, and it was pretty awesome to see something like that. Because you see it, in pictures or videos or TV or, iRacing in a sense like this, but seeing it in person, man, it's a whole different beast.
To your point, like you said, and I was able to sit on pit road and watch qualifying, and these speeds that these guys are going down the front stretch, and then the arc that they take, staying as close to the outside wall as they can to dive into turn 1. So many times I was like, these guys are crazy. So what a wild scene. Anybody that's able to get out to Pocono Raceway, I highly recommend it. Steve and I are advocates of that facility. So and it was a sellout last year. So
yeah,
if you can make it out, go.
Yeah, I think they did a good thing by, because before there were two a season, and then there was like that weird year where it was like they did like a back-to-back week. It was like a Saturday and then a Sunday thing, or whatever, and that didn't, that worked, I guess. But that one race last year, it just brought everybody to that one race. It made it, that one big event, and man, the atmosphere was incredible. The weather was so good, and that I think really brings people around. So really cool stuff. Right now we're seeing Matthew Fleming getting pretty squirrely right there. Same thing as Austin Salyers. This is around 15th spot right here. A couple of these guys fighting to get themselves into that top 10, into the top 5 if they can. We're seeing Angel. Man, these guys are getting crazy all around each other. But lap 50, so we're 30 laps to go. We do expect, or I guess I expect to see green flag stops, give or take 10 laps from now, maybe a little past that. But so we will see. Right now, though, looking pretty good. Nick Light still your leader, but not for long, maybe. Blaze Crawford, Devin Smecker looking very, very fast right now. Up in the top. Frankie Barroso as well. Ryan Dunkelberger. A lot of these guys don't necessarily need wins. Like Dunkelberger, very solid in that top 12. Frankie, obviously, a 3-time winner so far this season. Devin Smecker right now has already won a race. But Nick Lights and Blaze Crawford, again, these two are both, very well locked into those playoffs right now, at least mathematically. So don't necessarily need wins just yet, but I'm sure they want to break the chain, as they say, and get themselves into the winner's circle.
So with 39 laps to go, in your opinion, Steve, we've seen so much happen already. So many guys, have been at the front, have led some laps, have been working their way up through the field. Who is your pick now? Who's the favorite? Who's the top dog that you feel like has put themselves in position? If this were to run and stay green, who do you think is going to be the odds-on favorite here to win now?
For me, it's tough, right? Because I'm not seeing the dominance as I would normally see from a Bowie Esports. We're looking at Brandon 6th and 6th spot right now. Brandon Bowie a little further back. So I'm not so much in that stable right now. I mean, Mark Whitley, we know, is extremely fast. Right now, B6, 7, and 8. Oh, yellow flag, though, out in the air.
This changes
what happened
everything.
here? It sure does. Nick Simpson, yet again, maybe into the wall here out of turn 1. Could be a solo car incident. Let's take a look here. Ugh. Things like this, Derek, make me just shake my head.
Yeah, I was going to say, these guys are going to be called to the hauler, I would say, especially the 60 there. Not necessary, not needed. We had some really good racing, some stories going to develop, but nonetheless, you always have a couple that are out there thinking that the track's theirs. So I think that's what we saw there.
Yes, sir, we did. I mean, right there, yeah, just beating and banging. I mean, you're in 22nd, 23rd spot. I mean, yeah, that's a hard call from the booth right there for me, but it's all good right now. Lap 53. See, Nick Lights, the whole pack though is going to get bound up back together, so this should be interesting. A lot of these guys, they should still have 2 more sets of tires, so we'll see how that works out for them. But right now, though, I expect to see drivers coming down pit road. I think they'll still have to come down pit road once more for a green flag pit stop if we have it for fuel, but this will definitely make it interesting. What do you do here? Do you take the tires? I like taking tires here because, you have more of that mobility on the track, and we'll see. A lot of this can go down here. Your leaders.
Here's why I like. I didn't mean to cut you off. Here's why I like the 4 tire strategy, because you want to stay, in that 4-second gap to the leaders. So I think that's the call here personally.
I agree. Good time right now. Everyone coming down pit road. And this will most likely, everyone, I would expect at least, everyone coming down pit road, taking tires, taking the fuel. And that way, if we have that green flag pit stop later on, I would expect to see just fuel at that point. I wouldn't expect a lot of these guys to take tires. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. But right now, this is huge. Setting yourself up to get that track position. There we go. Brandon Bowie leads us off right there. Brandon 6 as well. Bunch of these guys, they know how to get this thing done. And they are the kind of guys to take those 2 tires. So smart move there to get that track position. Blaze Crawford in 3rd spot. Nick Lights in P4. Jamie Graham in P5. So a lot left to go in this race, Derek. Lap 54. I expect to go back green about lap 56 or 7, give or take. So we'll see how that works in just a second. But right now, we'll go and thank a few sponsors while we have the time before the choose rule. We'll come right back.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers full sleeping. Rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight. Rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the TATER 200 here at Pocono for the ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series. Lap 55, we're ending a caution here, a sixth caution. And Brandon Bowie going to be leading us off here after some pit strategy. Blaze Crawford, Brandon Bowie up front. Inside lane, it's a great start. Teammate Brandon 6 pushes him to the lead here. And off we go, 25 laps to go here in Pocono. Good moves right here. A lot of these guys are going to start to get desperate. Look at that wall right there. We saw so many guys, 3 or 4, hit that outside wall of turn 1. Got to be careful here. That will kill your car. Single file racing though. The top 20. Oh, Jamie Graham goes around here. Gets hooked, I believe, by Frankie Barroso. And away we go.
Cautions breed cautions.
Alrighty, so we're going to jump on board. I believe it was Frankie that maybe got involved. We'll see. Ooh. Go back a little further. So Frankie right now behind Jamie Graham, entering the tunnel turn. Yeah, Frankie's gonna clip him here. Not sure if really can't tell if Frankie kind of sends it in too hard or if Jamie comes down or if Frankie comes up. It's not real sure what really was the situation there. Frankie, we know, is a guy that isn't going to race aggressive like that, so as we've seen in the past, but that's really unfortunate there for Jamie Graham. Man. Car's not too bad, has some left side damage, but probably still good to go for the race. Let's take a look. Yeah, you know what? Not too bad. Definitely scraped up, but still able to continue for sure. Might have some damage to repair, but not out of this one for sure.
No, and if you're Jamie, I mean, you're now hoping for all these cautions to play out like we've seen. So hopefully, for his sake, that's what we see play out here. But, a lot of time left, 24 laps. We've seen some strategy here with some of these guys, Crawford, Lights, coming to pit road. Oh, Lights faked me out anyway. So got some strategy here, Steve.
This is a good move. I like this a lot, actually, from Blaze. He's going to get passed here by a couple of guys, but you see it right behind him. A lot of takers along with, him. So Bowie, 6, Light, Smerker, Barroso, Tim, Robb, and Dunkelberger all decided not to come down pit road. So these guys all do. You might be able to go the rest of the way on fuel here. I wouldn't doubt if we see some of these guys top off as well next lap by. Before we go back green. So a lot left to go, but this is big for a lot of these guys. front of the pack here will have to save some more fuel if they think they can make it the rest of the way, but we will find out.
Turning a negative into a positive, and I was just going to talk about Graham here, and I want to give a shout out if I can. You know, he's got Cardano Shepherd on the hood this week of the 62. We talked about how cool the scheme already looks with kind of those inverted flames that we saw. So he is a Pennsylvania native. I live in PA as well. He's an EMT firefighter for 20 years, and you know, Shep's been guiding different Web3 newcomers, assisting them through processes of setting up wallets and finding, you know, various ways to get people through the door. So, you know, he's night guard at Pocono Raceway. He has a super cool story, and just really cool to see what he and what everybody there at Murphy Esports have been able to do. Wanted to give a shout out there, albeit that he, you know, crashed. So gave us a good opportunity to talk about him.
Yes, sir. There we go. Damage is repaired for that car. Not looking too bad right now after that damage. So all things look like are good to go. Brandon Bowie, Brandon 6 are your leaders. Gonna go back green here with should be 21 laps to go here. Maybe 20 laps to go. Oh, here we go. Basic lights are off, so we're good to go here. So yeah, 21 laps to go at the line. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Again, fuel at this point, you know, if I'm a Bowie, if I'm, you know, Light, 6, Smrecker, these guys up front, I'm kind of worried about it. You know, I'm guessing they can make it on fuel, but it's close. You know, assuming there's more cautions, right, they can just stay up front and off they go. But the guys behind who took fuel right there, maybe even tires, you know, they know for a fact they can go the rest of the way now. So I think that's big for them. They can push it and not have to worry about holding back. So I think that could be huge too. But a lot of these guys looking pretty good at this point now. Big shout out though for a couple of guys in the back of the field here. James Kaufman. Haven't talked much about him, but man, look at his car. Clean. Just looking really good. He's been very good lately as far as just avoiding incidents and holding his line and just being, you know, just being consistent, right? I mean, sometimes, you know, not always being the fastest car on track, you know, that obviously, you know, can suck. But hey, right here, I almost never see him in a wreck. Always looking pretty good. Never causes wrecks. So big shout out here to James Kaufman in that 25, looking pretty solid today.
You said it perfectly. It looks like the car just started. I mean, these guys have been wrecking all over the place, and that car looks as clean as could be. So we'll see what happens with the 25 here. Man, this is going to be fun.
It sure is. Right now, we're going to get green flag racing. 21 laps to go here for the TATER 200. Roger Pierce getting sent back to the back, it looks like. Can't quite tell what's going on there. Hopefully we get word from race control perhaps, but we're green. Here we go, diving down into turn 1. This might be their last opportunity to try and pass some of these competitors here to get a good finish. What do we expect to see here? 3 wide, 2 wide in the back already. A lot of cars getting loose off of turn 1 exit. Definitely hard to do. Further back, we're seeing Kenny Reel down low to Daryl Young. Daryl right now holding on to a P10 spot. Needs a good effort right here. Right now on the bubble to get into that championship. The top 12. Oh, hard hit for a couple of guys. Austin Salyers looks like it was. Maybe even Julio Villalobos.
Seeing a lot of guys here working with their teammates. I was just going to say, you know, with Bowie out front, I think nobody better for him than his teammates. 6 right behind him, getting that start. The restart before, I almost thought, did these guys jump the restart with how good of a jump that they got? Obviously they didn't, but now we're seeing even the Murphy Esports guys play together a little bit here, getting some good momentum. I mean, it's go time. There's no more sitting back, it is go time. Seeing a lot of guys bouncing off the wall still. We know the wall is tough. It'll be interesting if they can don't knock the wall down before the end of the race. But
Oh,
man,
yeah.
this is action-packed like crazy right now.
Yellow flag once more on the track. Let's see what it is. Nick Simpson once more.
Did these two have any type of history before in this race? I can't remember. I know Simpson's been into a few wrecks here tonight. Maybe it's time for him just to kind of be a somebody that's watching the event. But I don't know if they were, if he and the other driver there had any type of issues prior at all, or maybe that was their first incident.
Yeah, Nick's been involved in quite a bit tonight. Not sure if they were deemed his fault or not, according to race control, but we will find out. Either way, here we go. Brandon Bowie going to be still your leader. So 19 laps to go now. So again, everybody could pit here and most likely be good to go on fuel. So we'll see if we have any takers. It doesn't look like that'll be the case. Saving fuel under yellow is definitely something that is possible here. No one coming down. So good stuff right here. One taker. Looks like Jacob Weist. Cool stuff. Well, right now, let's take a quick break. We have the time under yellow flag. Thank a few of our sponsors. Big thanks to TATER 200 for coming on board.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Alrighty, folks, we are back once more for the TATER 200 here at Pocono International Raceway. And a long way still to go. 17 laps to go right now. Brandon Bowie, Brandon Six are your leaders. Frankie Barroso and Nick Lights on row number 2. Right now, concluding our 6th caution for incident here. So we're going to find out pretty quick who can get this thing done. Right now, 17 laps to go, 16 at the line. And, man, getting pretty heated. We're seeing some close racing, obviously. Some, I don't know, maybe lack of impatience or lack of, I don't know. Seeing a lot of stuff going on here today at Pocono, but still 16 laps to decide this thing. And who we're going to see? It's going to be a new winner. Is it going to be a driver who we expect? I mean, obviously Brandon's 6, Brandon Bowie, you know, Frankie right now with 3 wins in the season. These guys know how to get it done. Devin Schmecker in P5 after a long day, after a penalty, as well as getting through the field. So a lot of drivers here can get this thing done, Derek, but man, long way to go still at Pocono. 2.5 miles. Big track here.
Yeah, I actually just pulled my sleeping bag, a pillow. Like I'm in it here for the long haul right now. I think this is going to go for a little while. So it's going to be, you know, a lot of the players that we maybe talk about now. And I mentioned to you earlier, Bowie, probably the last guy these drivers want to see out front.
Oh, yeah.
Just being able to get out. And I think he's the class of the field. So can somebody kind of dethrone him a little bit? It'll be interesting. Here we go.
We will see. Right now, leading him off. Bowie gets a great jump right there in P1. Frankie Rosa, his teammate behind him. Back green, 16 laps to go here. Off we go. Diving down here, we're seeing 2. Oh boy. Maybe a wreck right here. Man, Villalobos saved a great save right there. He was sideways and got it done. Great job there for him. Blaze Crawford tries to send it in right there into the tunnel turn. Kind of makes it work in that 12. Brandon 6 going to block him right there on the outside lane. Oh no. Nikolai's got real tight right there to turn 3. Keeps it going. Might be 3 wide here. In the middle. Oh no. Fleming looks like in the back. Big spin around here. Matthew Pont. Here's the replay. Looks like Fleming came across the nose of the 76. Max Brady involved. Looks like Anderson. Villalobos involved. Matthew Pont. We'll go back a little further here and find out what happened here with Fleming.
I think we might have had some ARCA break situations.
Oh, we sure did. We sure did, Derek. Let's take a look. So we're going to see, yeah, Roger just, just comes down. Thought he was clear, but he wasn't, and around she goes.
And it was probably by what, like a foot? He needed maybe a foot to make that work. And but man, these guys, these guys are full send. The one car just going for the strike there. So quite interesting. Love that scheme, by the way. Great paint scheme for them.
Yeah, riding aboard Matthew Pont here. I think he might have dropped his coffee or something because he just kept going straight into Fleming. Look at this. Lordy.
I mean, the Days of Thunder, anybody that's watched that, they say drive through like into the smoke kind of a thing. It looked like what he was trying to do. Maybe that vantage point, I will say this, that vantage point in car looked a little bit different than it did the aerial view where it was a direct shot. So maybe he just expected him to be a little down the track or upward a little bit. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a benefit of doubt there. But man, that we're seeing so much. You talked about it, Steve, at the very, very beginning of the show. You talked about, hey, at the end of this race, guys are going to get very tight. We're seeing that. In how many times, there were 3 wide action there. So this car is changing dramatically, and we already know we can't pass. And now we're getting tight. So, boy, oh boy, I would not want to be a driver.
Yeah, it sure is tough. I mean, obviously from our seat, it's hard racing is going to be hard, right? So it's a lot going on, obviously, but this is why this is a smart move here by Bowie and Frankie and 6, right? I mean, these guys, they're always wondering, hey, why, man, like Bowie Bowie Esports is always up front. They're always winning races. Well, this is why. I mean, they put themselves into positions to win races. You know, when you're in the back wrecking or misjudging, you know, things or whatever it might be, you're only killing yourself, right? So in a case like this, you know, Bowie and Six and Frankie right here, they've done nothing special. It's not necessarily a speed thing. They just put themselves into a position where they're in the front of the field, have the clean air, and now they're working together, right? So anybody can do that. They just do it the best. And it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of these guys, and you know, a lot of guys, you know, can't process that. But you know, competition is fierce, especially in this league nowadays. A lot of these guys, man, 15 cars easily could win a race at any point. And you know, a lot of these guys got to just figure out that little piece to get themselves in that winner circle. And Bowie Esports just, they know how to get it done. And that's why you say, I mean, you know, Brandon is in this spot right now looking the best to do it. As right now we're choosing.
Mm-hmm. And there's the 25 that looks like it just came out of the showroom once again that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So help me out, because I know there's a lot of people that are watching maybe for the first time or second time now. Who in the top 10, and I know you win, you get into the playoffs, who in the top 10 has not scored a win yet and is really trying to put themselves in position to, you know, make this milestone moment here in the season?
I mean, really, I look at the top 5 right now. Bowie, Six, Barroso, Crawford, Lights. These guys, I mean, you know, Crawford and Lights, they haven't won a race yet, but they don't necessarily need to get themselves into the playoffs because their points are high enough to where they're probably going to be okay. You know, Whitley, Devin Smucker, they've won races this season, so no worries there. Tim Robin, P8, in that 57, he's looking pretty good points-wise as well. So, you know, I'm not too concerned about him right now, as far as points go. But the first one that really, you know, I'm looking at still is that Michael Johnson right now in P9, in that 39 car. Very, very fast driver, very consistent, knows how to get it done. But right now, pretty well low in the points. Can definitely still make it into the championship 12 with points. I believe he's 41 points out from that 12th spot. So definitely doable, but has to have a near perfect next 3 races. But again, that win, you know, fixes everything. So he can get it done here. He is a fast guy. Just has to find that win.
I'm glad you called, and Bowie Esports as well. Now we're seeing the top 2, and you just called out there with Johnson in the 39. So it'll be a lot of fun to see what he does here. How many laps will go in green here? Do you think we're going to make it from now till the end of the race, or do you think a caution comes out?
No, sir. There is there is no chance we end this thing green with 11 laps to go.
I tried.
I did too. Either way, pace car going to turn left here. Yellow lights off. Brandon Bowie leads us back. Frankie Barroso pushing his teammate. Green lights are on. This dive down to turn 1's always so intense. And they're getting it done right now. Bowie gets that nice sweep, nice arc into turn 1. That'll set him up nicely right here. Dunkelberger on the outside lane. Young right there just tagged Kenny Reel inadvertently on the outside, but here we go. Blaze Crawford in that 3rd spot now, or 4th spot, never mind. 6 was hiding behind Frankie, but looking pretty good. Oh, big uppercut to the wall by that 26. Got to keep it going. It's time to lock it in right now. It's 11 laps to go. Tim Robb on the outside lane. 3 wide right here, coming to the stripe. Austin Sayers pushes it 3 wide here, down the middle. James Kaufman might follow suit right here. This is going to get interesting. All 3 make it work still. Getting tight right here on exit. Salyers and Young. Teammates. Jacob Weiss trying what he can right there too as well. This is again all for that about 18th spot. Weiss going to go around here. Can he save it?
What a save. Oh, kind of. We stayed green, so that's good. 60 with a hell of a save there to not make it worse than what it was. And yeah, these guys know that with 10 to go now, 9 to go at the line, this is no holds barred as we get ready for here. Bowie out front. Clean air is king, as we talked about, and Barroso now are making the charge from second.
Yeah, right now, Blaze Crawford in that 12 just kind of used up 6 a little bit there. Some door banging, just a little bit. Frankie into the wall right there, just a little bit. These guys fighting for what they can right now. 9 laps to go. 6 going to try and send it in here, maybe. Not quite yet. Light's got to be careful there. Up against 6. On his quarter panel. Wow, so close. And now Whitley making a move here. Don't forget about him. He can make this thing happen too. In that 77. Still side by side right now for the lead though. Brandon Bowie in that P1 spot. Loves this track and considers it one of his favorite tracks. Frankie Barroso though going to try and spoil the party as well as Blaze Crawford. What does he have too?
I don't know about you, Steve, but this feels eerily similar to what we saw here last year in this race, about 8 months ago or so, where we saw these top 3 and we got a caution. Okay. Well, this is going to be a shootout now, Steve, so yeah, it's going to be interesting once we check the replay here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Jamie gets loose right there onto turn 1. You can see his back end kick out. Unfortunately, had nowhere to go. Max was right there. Try and get a better view here. Maybe inside the cockpit. So here we go. We're going to see him get loose. Sends it in pretty hard. Downshifts right there. That kid just goes around. Max is right there. Can't go anywhere else. Really, really unfortunate. Big wreck right now. 7 laps to go. Brandon Bowie going to be your leader. Frankie Barroso in P2. Blaze Crawford in 3rd spot. Nick Lights and then Brandon 6. So a lot of the usual suspects appear in the top 5. Trying to figure out who can win this race. Bowie has won before this season. Keep that in mind. He's already won, so that's good for him. He's good to go there. Frankie Barroso has won 3 times this season. Has looked very, very fast all season long. Blaze has not won a race just yet. But he is knocking on that door right now in 3rd spot.
But my question then to you, Steve, is where are we at here with some of the strategy? Who's got enough fuel? Forget tires at the moment, but who's got enough fuel to make it to the finish? That's now coming into play. Caution laps help that. We see a couple guys peeling off. Looks like the Murphy Esports guy. Ooh, the 2 faked us out. I think he did that once before, so he owes me a couple now. But where are we at with this strategy? Can these guys up here, make it? If it went green all the rest of the way?
I think a lot of these guys can now just because, these yellow flags, they can save a lot of fuel. So there's no real issue there, right, when it comes to fuel saving and things like that. So that's the good part. But right now, we're going to see a lot of these guys come down. A lot of these guys have damage and things like that, so they're going to try and fix the last of their damage, obviously, and get the 4 tires, probably their last set, full of fuel, and off they go. But these guys up ahead, they can make their way to the end for sure. Now, can they make it through 3 green-white checkers? That could be a different story. I think a lot of these guys are going to play it by ear first and see what they have initially.
I appreciate that breakdown. That really helps kind of figure out what strategies we're at. But Man, I tell you what, Bowie just getting out. Man, he gets such a big lead at the start of these the restarts. It
Oh, yeah.
feels like, and what's amazing is that helps him set up. I see that he's diving below the apron just to maybe conserve some of that fuel. Not just conserve, but make sure that the fuel is really getting into the engine base there. So one thing that I really like of that restart element is, him getting that 5-6 car length lead really gets him to just look at turn one, don't have to look in the rear view. Nobody's diving in to wreck him. They're going to wreck the whole field if they would do that. But man, he's in the catbird seat right now, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely agree. A lot of these guys looking pretty good, especially with 4 tires like Devin Smecker going to be taking right now. I mean, again, he's been kind of doing different things all race long. I think for a guy like him, he can try different things, and right now he's going to restart 16th, but he'll have fresh tires, and in theory, he can kind of fly through the field. So we'll see how that works out for him. But again, already has that win, so doesn't really need to necessarily worry about, that, right? So at this point, just kind of going for trophies and more playoff points. But either way, 5 laps to go still. Going to be 4 laps to go as we come around next time by. Jimmy Graham, Max Brady going to be passing this pace car here. So we will have 4 laps to go, Derek, as we get this race wrapped up. The TATER 200.
I'm excited. These last 5 laps, I think, are going to be very thrilling. But man, so many times we've seen guys bounce off that wall. I don't think they're done wrecking, unfortunately. Would love to see it run from now to the green, or to the checker, I should say. But man, these guys are going to be making some bold, daring moves, thinking that they're in 18th and going to be able to make the win happen in one turn. But I really think that these top 4 guys, especially the 2, the 48 clearly, and the 23. So, man, this is going to be who's gonna really run it in deep.
I agree. Definitely expect it to happen for sure. But interesting thing too, Bowie and Frankie, right now, your front row teammates, but there's no teammates behind them directly. So Blaze is behind, and also Nick Light. So they're not going to get that great push like they were getting before. So this could be a bit different. Blaze Crawford right now on the outside lane looks pretty quick, and he makes the outside lane work pretty well. So we'll see what he can do here with 4 laps to go. But here we go. Pace car going to be coming in. We have 4 laps to go to get this thing decided. Here we go. Bowie and Barroso in the front row. We're back green flag here.
Barroso staying with him a lot better than anybody else has in the last few restarts. That's going to be key.
Yes, sir. Frankie going to be on the outside right now. Dungelberger gets tight right there in turns 1. Frankie can't really make it work on the outside lane. Brandon Bowie just so strong at tracks like this. He said it earlier. He basically called his shot. He loves this place. He's so fast here. Can he get it done? Tim Robb tried to sneak it in the inside of Dungelberger. Can't quite do it. Roger Pierce gonna make it 3 wide here. Entering into that turn 3, Jackson Anderson shoves it in 3 wide. Villalobos, the meat in the sandwich, a little further on back. So far, they're all getting through. 3 laps to go. In a battle for the lead right here, upcoming. Blaze Crawford going to dive it inside here. Frankie Barroso. Man, Blaze has just shot out of a rocket, buddy. Yellow flag. Once more.
Very interesting couple laps we just saw there. I don't want to underestimate that. There was, we can break down this wreck, but man, that was interesting. A lot to talk about.
Let's get one more angle here. So yeah, coming down into turn 1, Kenny is 3 wide, just about 3 wide. Really, really hard to tell if he comes up or if Kaufman comes down, but this angle over here might be perfect. Let's just go back to that if we can. So here we go. We'll see Kenny reel that blue car, middle of your screen. Yeah, from this angle, looks like Kenny comes up. Kaufman's not coming off that wall a whole lot. Kenny's, yeah, really tough to tell. I mean, Kaufman's taking the natural corner of that apex, but Kenny's also right there as well. So really, really tough break. Looks like a single car incident, so not terrible for the field or for the drivers behind him, but still a big, big hit. But that, Derek, will set us up for our first official green and white checkered here.
And just to recap too, obviously we're going to do a green white checker here. We do how many green white checkers before we let them just go all out?
Say it again, Derek. So sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, just thinking about, some strategy. I know fuel is a big issue here, or a potential issue. If these guys keep wrecking, how many green white checkers do we allow these guys to do before we turn off the cautions?
Yeah, so it's 3. So right now we're going to be in our first attempt. We get 3 at it, and that's it. So we'll see how that works. We've seen this happen earlier. I mean, earlier at Darlington actually was a pretty chaotic race. Long green flag run at the end of it. But then ended under those 3 green white checkered. So this can happen, and I'd like to say it won't happen here, but you just never know. A lot can happen here at Pocono, but either way, 2 laps to go here once we go back green. But some interesting moves here. Bowie and Frankie, Bowie Esport drivers, will be back to back here. Or, I'm sorry, front to back. So that could be interesting, assuming they pick the right lane, right? But Blaze Crawford might have the outside lane. We'll find out what he picks, but Blaze right here looks very, very fast. So if anybody can contend for this win outside of maybe Frankie or Bowie, I think Blaze, he's got it going on right now.
Yeah, I'm going back in my mind and thinking about how that last restart went, and that was definitely the closest, for the second place car, Barroso and Bowie. Those guys were going into turn 1 a lot closer than what we've seen. And I just got to imagine that there's a little bit more left in the tank from the Crawford side, from the Barroso side, and they're throwing all they can at Bowie right now. And you keep talking about it. He's got a lot of confidence at this place. Well, that confidence better turn into just a little bit more speed, because those guys are going to be a little bit more daring going into maybe the tunnel turn or even the final lap. And we saw it last year where there was a last lap wreck where the guys in 3rd and 4th and 5th ended up crossing the start-finish line first. So, man, this is far from over.
So right now, here we go. We're going to have 1 lap to go before we go back green. So Frankie did decide to go with his teammate, Bowie here, right behind him. We'll see Blaze Crawford here on the outside lane by himself. Going to get pushed here by Nick Lights. So interesting calls here. Man, this is going to be pretty wild. We'll definitely see Bowie get that great jump. But can Crawford just somehow get that spot, get to that point of getting around? So we will see. 2 laps to go, though. We're seeing Daryl Young up here, who needs a great points finish, which is great for him. Tim Robb as well, Jackson Anderson. So a lot on the line here as well. And keep in mind, folks, if these guys don't make it into the championship 12 drivers, we do something here that's pretty cool in the ASRA League. They do a contender playoffs as well. So basically, the top 12 go into the championship playoffs, and then the top 8 outside of that, so 13th through 20th, kind of has their own bracket for, I guess, the best of the rest, we can call it. And they battled it out all the way through the finale at Homestead, and pretty cool pot there as well. So either way, right now we're going to find out and get this Pocono race, the TATER 200, wrapped up. Will it be 1 green-white checkers, or will it be 3? We're going to find out, Derek, right now. Bowie and Crawford in the front row. Here we go.
I'm calling it right now. This is it. This is the only green-white checker we'll have. So
I love it.
buckle up.
Here we go. The pace car is off. Green flag in the air. The Geico restart zone has been approached. And Brandon Bowie leads us back off for our first attempt in overtime. Pretty good jump there for Brandon Bowie. Oh, Lordy. Back at the field. A couple of guys getting squirrely. Jamie Graham. Big wreck with Jacob Weist. Yellow flag surely will fly here. So far, nothing. Already. Pretend like nothing happened here. Brandon Bowie in the lead. Looking good. Tunnel turn right here. Blaze Crawford. He's alone. He can catch him. Oh, Lordy. Here we go. Brandon 6. Mark Whitley. Oh, Roger Pierce up and around.
What a bummer. We were going to see some good racing there. I like that we didn't get the yellow for the 62 wrecking in the back there, but
yeah.
All right, we just brought in some new players now, Steve, to this. You know, you were talking about Rob earlier, I believe it was, where you were saying, hey, here's a guy that really could be a long shot. Now he moves up to 6th, depending on the choose, but man, we were I think this taught Crawford, the 12 car, in second place a lot. Didn't get the best restart, but was able to stay with him, and it was Bowie's to lose, obviously. But man, these guys that from second on back, they got another shot at redemption here.
Absolutely. Right now, we're going to see. So Whitley in 6 look like they get maybe tagged equally by Dunkelberger. We'll go back in just a second, but man, Roger Pierce. Oh. Tough break. We'll get one more, actually a couple more angles of this. We have the time to do it. So I want to ride on board Dunkelberger right here. He's the one that looks like he might have started it per se. Trying to get a better look here. So far, yeah, just gets into 6. Similar to how we saw the wreck earlier. Roger Pierce right here. Let's take a look at this wild ride. Gonna get hit right here. Has nowhere to go. Oh, man. Up and around. Had to have gone at least 7 feet in the air before he could land on all fours. But, man, tough break. Roger Pierce right there. Brandon 6 as well. Kenny Reel getting involved. Mark Whitley, I believe, also might be in trouble. Yeah, the whole front end, right front. Big mess here, Derek.
Yeah, certainly was. It's interesting, that 4 car, what a run he got to get to the 6. It almost looked like, and I don't know if this is true, just kind of the perception of it, maybe he is on a little bit better tire situation. He was able to get in or off the corner a little bit better. That's kind of what it looked like. But man, that took out some major players. We still got some of these key guys here at the top that have been pretty dominant these in this stage. So I'm telling you, just like I said maybe a minute or two ago, this brought in more guys, and believe it or not, Brady, the 5 car, who's been in multiple accidents here tonight. This car will not quit. The driver will not quit either. So we're seeing him now in 8th place. So a lot of moving, a lot of shaking. I go back to what I've been saying before. See a lot of fuel mileage, fuel situations. I don't know where these guys stand, but man, it is. I can't imagine they got too much fuel left in the tank, especially for the guys that haven't been able to pit because they've been out front.
Oh, for sure. And that is the case right here. A lot to go. Steel choose car right now is underway. Who chose what right here? Because Brandon Bowie was in the front. Looks like Crawford still thinks the outside lane is pretty popular. Can get it done. Frankie, oddly enough, did not choose the inside lane with his teammate. So that's curious. Nick Light's, though, going to be right there in that third spot. So still a long way to go. Or so we think. 3 laps to go. Our second overtime period here. Again, for the folks that don't know how this works, basically they'll take the green flag, and then if the white flag comes out, then that will be the last lap, and no yellows will come out at the end. They'll just race their way back to the checkered. But if a yellow comes out before the white flag, then we will go under yellow conditions, and we'll try it again once more. So we get 3 attempts at that. We've already tried our first one. We have 2 more to go. If you're Brandon Bowie, I feel like you're fast enough at this point to, you know, get through these first or these next 2 laps. But at the same time, you know he's going to get a jump big enough to where, you know, if yellows come out, he's probably going to be, you know, still in that first spot. So, you know, if I'm Crawford, you know, I want this 2 laps to, you know, to run out, you know, because you're going to have to make up for the fact that Bowie has that jump. But then, you know, for the ability of, you know, trying to catch him. So either way, we're going to find out. 2 laps to go, whether it's this 2 laps or the next 2 laps. But this is it. So who's your pick? Still going with Bowie, huh?
Well, I don't think you can go with. I don't think you can go outside of Bowie, only because, you know, starting on the pole. But if I had to go anybody else, I would say watch out for the 57 of Rob, because I can see a scenario where Lights gets in, bumps those guys out, gets into Crawford then as well, and opens up that bottom for somebody like Rob. So we'll see if what happens here.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Second overtime period right now. Brandon Bowie, Blaze Crawford leading the field right here. Way better restart for Blaze Crawford on the outside lane. Can he get around Bowie right here for the lead? Has to dive down into turn 1 pretty hardcore. What does he have in those tires in that car? It's a great entry. Rolls it through here, side by side Bowie. This might open the door here for Lights. Here he comes. Oh no, Bowie and Lights get together right here. Big wreck. Oh my word, yellow flag is out. And that takes out majority of the leaders. Brandon Bowie around, Frankie Barroso as well, and Michael Johnson. Oh my word. I was just gonna say, Derek, before the yellow, this is one of those races that I wouldn't be surprised if something or somebody kills the leaders. And here we are.
Exactly what I was saying about, you know, keep your eye on the 57. I should have been saying keep your eye on the 2, because, I mean, that scenario played out exactly what I was kind of thinking might, where you were talking about as well, seeing that little bit of aggressiveness. But now, hey, guys, look, the best car all day out of the race. He's not in contention anymore to win this race. We've got some new players up front. I don't know how much damage is there to the 2, you know, after the 23 came off. But Crawford, my goodness, let's talk about him real quick, because he got such a great run at the start. But these guys, what kind of damage are we looking like here? Take out the 23 for a minute. Is this something that is going to take out the 2, or is his damage good to go? Wow, what dodging these things. Look at the 5. Brady went from 8th to 4th.
Yeah.
Wow, my goodness.
Pretty wild.
Awesome.
Yeah, that right there. So it looked like there's actually net code in between Bowie and Crawford. So it's tough to really give blame, I suppose, but they were just racing really hard. I mean, obviously Blaze is going to shove it in there and
100%
see if it sticks. But that takes out, I mean, Frankie obviously takes out Smecker, looks like a little bit. Anderson. Bowie got killed here, it looks like, as well. Johnson, his teammate, Villalobos. Actually, almost every Bowie Esport driver got taken out right here.
That stinks.
Yeah, very, very rough for them.
Field.
Yeah, class of the field led a lot of laps, the pole, you know, and I mean Pierce got stage 2. So yeah, this is big. A lot of the guys, you know, again, for lack of a better word, the Bowie Esport drivers, they can afford, you know, that mishap, I guess you could call it, because most of them have wins and they're locked into the playoffs and, you know, things like that, right? But it's still a hard pill to swallow. Mark Whitley as well getting involved too. So a lot of strong cars, you know, involved in this. But right now we're going to get one more green flag attempt here at overtime, and look at this top 5. At really the top 10. Look at this freaking top 10. Excuse my language, but Nick Lights, Crawford, Young, Brady, Tim Robb, Austin Salyers, Dunkelberger, Kenny Reel, Anderson, Kaufman. All of these top 10. I mean, Lights and Crawford definitely fast drivers. I feel like they're a part of that group that I said earlier that can win at any point. But, these guys right behind them, 3rd to about 10th, they're fast. They're definitely fast. Can they win at any given point? I don't know, right? But definitely could be in contention. But a lot of these guys, all of a sudden, Derek, can sniff that win, or at least a really, really good finish for themselves. So, I mean, can Nick Lights get this thing done? He was last season's Pocono winner. He kind of walked into it, to be fair, but he still put himself in position to get the win. And right now he finds himself in that lead. So this could be huge for him to go back-to-back. Has not won a race yet this season. Blaze Crawford as well. So Daryl Young, a guy who needs to get some great points today to get himself, healthily into that top 12. That could be a move that he makes as well, too. So Tim Robb hasn't won yet here. Austin Salyers, in top 5. So it's just storylines are just spewing out right here, Derek. A lot can happen here.
Yeah, if I'm anybody, that is, I would say anybody in the top 9 right now could win this race. We could easily make a scenario play out. But it's amazing. We talked about a little bit earlier how Brady just keeps moving up through the field.
Yes.
After being in so many incidents. So it's just a product. It's, one of those things where, hey, if you just stay in it enough, and I'd be so curious to know what those that are watching on YouTube and some of those platforms are really talking about as we get down here to the final green-white checker. This is it. So we know we're going to see 3 laps. Am I correct? We're going to see green-white checker finish regardless.
Yeah, two laps, and that's it.
Yep. So that yellow flag goes into the official's pocket right now after they drop the green. So it'll be a lot of fun, but I'm telling you, I know I've been going all over the place a little bit with some of these drivers, but I feel like I know Lights is in the lead, but Crawford has restarted on the outside. I want to say maybe the last 5 restarts. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's been able to hold with the best driver in the field in Bowie. Now he has an opportunity to take advantage of being out there. The best driver's not in the field. It's going to be a head-to-head battle between him and Lights, but these guys behind are hungry.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be wild, man.
So pre-race, ironically enough, I was talking to Daryl Young as I sometimes do, and he asked me, he's like, "Who do you think will win today, or who will be good?" I told him, "I think we're gonna get a new winner today," and he was like, "Okay." And here he is in 3rd spot, or 4th spot actually, looking to get a win right here. And anybody in the top 11 drivers, if one of them wins, it'll be their first win of the season. And for many of them, their first win ever. So this is going to come down to some pretty chaotic stuff. Crawford, Brady, Lights, I think they're in really good spots right there to try and get this thing done. But here we go. Last attempt at overtime. Green-white checkered. We're going to get one more at it. If yellow comes out, that's the race. Nick Lights and Blaze Crawford. Here we go. A great jump right here. Who has the advantage? Will Blaze send it in once more? He sure does. Does he have the tires to get it done? Daryl Young going to try and squeeze through too. Does Blaze clear him? Yes, he does. Blaze Crawford to the lead right here with a lap and a half to go. Max Brady as well in that 5, the tunnel corner right here. Yellow flag is out, and that's going to be it for Blaze Crawford. Blaze will walk away here with his first win of his ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series career and get it done.
Good for him. Good for him. I mean, he fought all day on that outside, and to be able to pull it off and get it when it mattered most. So congratulations to him, the 12 team. That's awesome.
Unbelievable job. He was right there when it counted. Obviously, there was some, a huge mishap and incident with him and Brandon Bowie and all of them a couple of restarts ago, but that's sometimes the case here. You have to be aggressive to win these races sometimes. It's just so hard to pass, so hard to maneuver, get yourself into that spot right. And Blaze, these last couple of races, he's gotten penalized late in races like Atlanta for lane change violations and, things like that. He's not had the greatest of luck when it comes to late race issues, right? Or predicaments. And right here, he just kind of, elbows up, got the job done, and strong-armed his way around Nick Lights. And Nick Lights is a very, very good driver, very fast driver. And here he is about to win his first race of the season and his career here in the ASRA. What a great job here for him, but as well as Flagship Motorsports. They needed this, man. I'm telling you. They needed a win like this, and they've got it. They've got a driver right here locked into the playoffs with this win.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for those guys. And Crawford can really thank Young, can also thank Lights as well. But Young really took care of those guys. He could have went in and wadded them all up and maybe come out on top. But when he went in and they went 3 wide, he really took care of the competition out there. So Crawford owes him maybe a little thank you as well.
Yes, sir. There he is. Officially, Blaze Crawford is your winner today for the TATER 200. Gets his first career win in the ASRA and also his first win of the season for Season 6 here. Has locked himself into the playoffs. And an awesome job. Big races also as well for Nick Lights, Max Brady. Looking pretty good points-wise for them. But Daryl Young, a P4, is an incredible finish for him at a track like this. He was the winner last season at Talladega, so he knows how to get a win. But, man, P4 right here. Incredible job. Dunkelberger P5, Tim Robb in P6. Followed by Johnson, Salyers, Bowie, and Kaufman. Very, very good finishes for a lot of these guys. But heartbreak for most. Uh-oh. Seeing some guys getting through at the end. But Blaze, we're going to let him do some donuts here. And then we'll bring him in for the interview. We'll talk to your top 3, Max Brady, Nick Lights, and Blaze Crawford in just a second. Let's watch him burn this thing down to the ground. Celebrate his first win here. Max Brady, his buddy, celebrating with him. Love to see that when friends celebrate together. Good stuff. We'll come right back, folks. We'll thank a few sponsors, and then we'll come back and talk to your top 3.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes. Wanted to say how excited we are to be a sponsor for the ASRA Cup Series this upcoming season. This is just some of the pieces we've created over the years. We can work with you and bring any special victory to life. To order, or if you have any questions, please scan the QR code for Instagram or contact me through the Discord. And hopefully, we'll be bringing your virtual victory into reality one day.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the conclusion of the TATER 200. Right now, we are at, man, just an awesome finish there for Blaze Crawford, winning his first race of the season and his career, really, at ASRA. So a great job. We're going to bring in your top three right now, starting with Max Brady. Let's bring him in real quick. Sorry for that delay. Here he is. Woohoo is right. Max Brady here. P3 on the day for you. Hey, pretty good job today, man. Obviously, again, you keep sneaking into these top threes after a rough day like today. That win's coming, man. But hey, talk to us about today's race. We saw a lot of, quite frankly, impatience on track and tough racing. I understand how hard it is to pass, but how did it look from your end?
Oh man, well, let's see. I got home from work about 20 minutes before the race, and so I took like a shower, ate dinner real quick. So I had absolutely no laps of practice. Qualified like 16th, and I mean, like, I can't tell you. I don't think I entered the top 10 until maybe like 6 laps left in the actual race, like minus the green, white, checkers. I got taken out twice by let's see, Joseph Melee. I don't know his last name, and Jamie Graham. They tried to take me out. Joseph actually succeeded because I had like 6 minutes of damage. Got it all fixed. Drove by him because he got DQ'd. Smoking on that. And then, I mean, just kept avoiding wrecks. I mean, I was not fast at all. My car felt terrible because I had probably combined 8 minutes of damage that whole race. I didn't know what I was doing. I frankly ran into like 2 or 3 people. I mean, I apologize because I was just driving over my head, but ran into 3 people, got wrecked by 3 people. I mean, like, I don't know what to do, but all I gotta say is Flag Motors 1-3. It might be P2 because I heard that Nicolite's got a penalty, smoking on his back too. But I mean, shout out to the boy Blaze Crawford. I mean, that made my whole night. I don't care what place I would have finished. Blaze Crawford is an ASRA winner. Me and him been trying this whole season. He finally got him one, so hopefully I'm next.
Yes, sir. Definitely
Max,
think so.
really?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man. My bad.
No, Max, I was just gonna say you gave us a lot of fun storylines to watch all throughout the races.
Yep.
You were in a couple incidents. What else did you have there for your buddy up front, Crawford, that ended up winning the race? Do you have anything for him at the end there?
I think if that went green, maybe. I mean, that last restart, the absolute last restart of the race was like the only time I was even, I guess, in a chance to win. The restart before that, I was 6th, and I avoided that big wreck. So I was 3rd there, and I was hoping we were going to get to the white flag so me and Blaze could battle it out there. But, I mean, we just didn't get there, which is, I'm just glad that Blaze won because he's been trying to win in this series for a minute, just like I have. So one of us got it done, so now it's my turn to check it off the list whenever.
Yes, sir. Right now, actually getting word, too, there is going to be a penalty for Nick Lights. I'm not sure if we just mentioned that or not, for jumping the restart there at the end. So you will be upgraded to a P2, my sir.
I mean, this is even better. I mean, this is like Christmas.
Awesome job. So P2 will upgrade you here on the screen. Boom, there it is. Second place today, man. Great job with that. I'll tell you what, that win's coming, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for hosting, too.
No
This
problem.
thing's awesome.
Hey, real quick, give us a shout out for your sponsors just to make sure we get those stuck in there.
Yep, let me do that. Shout out to North Force Racing. That's my racing team. Carlos Pizza is a pizza company in Marietta, Georgia, but they also ship frozen pizza anywhere. Best frozen pizza you'll ever have, or best pizza if you want to go down to Georgia and get some. So shout out Carlos Pizza, EPI, and then shout out Blaze. The man does it. What can I say? It's Blaze Crawford right there. P1 for him, P2 for me. We'll take it.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. We'll catch you next time.
Appreciate it.
All right, there he is, Max Brady, finishing P2 after a penalty for Nick Lights for jumping that last restart. Now, though, let's bring in Daryl Young. Gonna be shocked here, but he's gonna love this. Here, quacking away, Daryl Young right now. Here he is, unexpectedly, but here you are, man. A top 3. Nick Lights got a penalty there at the end for jumping the restart, so that moves you up 1 spot to a top 3 podium spot, man. How's it feel? That race was pretty wild, and you survived it.
Honestly, all I can say is I stayed out of trouble. I mean, I did get caught up in one wreck pretty early. I had about 2 minutes of repairs. That was pretty early in the race. I got all that fixed, no problem. And after that, I just stayed out of trouble. I didn't get involved in anything. I just ran the race, or just drove the track. Didn't worry about anybody, which is my usual thing. And barely avoided a wreck. I think maybe it was the first green-white checker. That was close. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy about it for sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very, very good job. Obviously needed those points. So I'll get to you. Sorry, Derek, real quick. Just wanted to make sure that the viewers know that you really needed these points today and you got them done. So awesome job to keep yourself solidified in that top 12. Go ahead, Derek. My bad, man.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, Daryl, congrats, man. Good points today, like Steve said. So good momentum going into Rockingham. You got to be sleeping a little easier tonight.
Yes, yeah, it feels good. I it's been a little bit of a rough season for me. It's just had a few races where I just didn't do good. Yeah, I needed this points day for sure. Last season I finished P2 at Rockingham. I'm hoping to have another good finish next week, and then we'll have one race to go, and that's Talladega, and I just sucked there. So I really need to do good at Rockingham for sure.
Awesome, man. Great. Just a great finish today, man. Awesome job. We'll catch you next week at Rockingham. Something funny?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay, you were laughing for like 7 seconds. I couldn't really tell, but all right.
I apologize.
Yeah. Have a good night, man. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Always a fun time when Daryl's around, man. So right now we're bringing our P1 winner. I don't know why I said that, but here we go. Blaze Crawford. Get him in here right now. Here he is. There he is, the man of the hour here for Pocono, the winner of the TATER 200, Blaze Crawford, in that 12th. Big win for you, man. Big win for Flagship Motorsports today. How do you feel, dude?
Oh, man, I couldn't be happier. We finally got us a flag motor victory. Nothing, I can't get much better than that, man. Good old flag motor. Man, the whole race, it just felt like I was running up front. Didn't qualify good, but I had some of the best wheels in Wheels America underneath me, and started in the back and made our way up there. Maxar had a kind of a rough race. He was kind of all over the place, so it was, didn't really have much help. But we made our way methodically through there, man. Kind of picked them off one at a time, and found ourselves somehow in the lead at the end. So I guess that's just what it takes, man. You know.
Hey, Blaze, congratulations, man. Really cool to see you and the team be able to get your first win. Did you ever expect it to come at Pocono today? And my other thing is, you know, when you imagined that first win, how's it feel? I mean, dude, you're a winner in the series, and it's amazing.
Oh, man. Yeah, it definitely feels really good. I didn't really expect it to come at Pocono. I'm not really the greatest in this track. But tonight, I was just able to I thought a lot of it was just with a weight transfer to the right rear on corner exit. If you just waited on it and got it to point before you'd hit the gas, you'd get such a run off the corners, and that's where I felt like I was the best. Just coming off turn 3 especially, I felt like I just got a huge run on everyone that was running up front. They definitely had me on the other parts of the track, but I think as good as I was on that end, it just really made the difference and set me up for some really good passes. That was definitely one of the biggest places to make moves on the restarts. A couple times I found myself running like 10th entering turn 3. And if I set myself up right, I came off the corner, I was like 5th. Just because everyone would overdrive it, miss the corner, and I would just kind of do my thing. So it definitely didn't expect it to come here. I thought it was going to come in Atlanta, man. I thought we had that one in the bag.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened. But man, everything happens for a reason, and we're in victory lane today. That's all that matters. We're getting ready for the playoffs, and me and Max are. The flag motors are in full force, and we're putting out good motors right now. So we'll bring these motors to the playoffs and see what we can do.
Yes, sir, man.
Congrats.
Yes, sir, definitely. P1 today, obviously. Great job. First win of your career here at ASRA, but also the first win here in the season, so that means you're locked into the playoffs. You were looking good anyway, so that's obviously a good thing, but either way, you're locked in. That's huge. You can kind of rest easy for Rockingham and then Talladega. But real quick, before we leave, you were through the field quite a bit today, so talk to us about, like, you know, what you saw through the windshield as far as, like, I mean, like, the racing, right? Was it just hard nose for you? Is it hard to pass? Like, what do you think was the reason why we saw so much impatience in racing like we did?
Oh, I think a lot of it just came from people trying to make their moves entry to center and if they didn't get clear, you were going backwards. I think that's a lot of the mistakes I saw. A lot of the some of the fast people make that, obviously I think I have a little bit more experience with racing at like a really competitive level, running Road to Pro and stuff, where I kind of know where I can make moves, how I can make them, and even though maybe it might be hard to pass, I can make it easy on myself just with the knowledge and stuff I have. I definitely would say Frankie, Nick, Devin, Ryan, even they were all really good. Brandon Ruby was really fast. I just felt like I was able to make the right moves at the right times, to kind of put them in a bad spot to where I had the advantage before they even realized it. And I think that's where I kind of just had the edge over the fast guys, because these guys are really, really fast in here. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. No one in here makes it easy. It's super competitive. I just feel like the little bit more experience I have, and that kind of gives me the edge on the long runs, and kind of setting myself up to put myself in a spot to win.
Yes, sir, man. Awesome job. Give us a shout out real quick to your sponsors, then we'll let you go, and yeah, go celebrate, dude.
Yeah, man. Big shout out Max already. The 1-2. We've been waiting for this, man. We've been waiting for this. We got the 12 and the 5 1-2. Shout out to Flag Motors, Matt Fleming, for bringing me on this season. Hopefully I'm making him happy, getting a win for the team. We got who else we got? We got Flim Dogs Auto Repair, San Antonio Karting Complex. Couldn't do it without them. Can't do it without Matt. Wouldn't be here with this team. Wouldn't be racing without him. So big shout out to him. Big shout out to you guys for getting the broadcast. Always appreciate you guys giving my family and everyone a chance to be able to watch. So shout out to them for always watching. It really it's definitely much appreciated to have such awesome broadcasts.
Yes, sir, man. Big thanks to you again. Hey, congratulations. We'll see you next week in Rockingham.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys. Take care.
All my fellas. All my fellas.
Love that. All right, man. Hey, that's going to be it. Derek, last minute just thoughts about the race.
Well, the race was chaotic. I think that would be a good word for it, but it was a really good finish, and no better storyline than seeing a guy and a team that have got their first win, and they're going to carry some serious momentum now into the playoffs. So congratulations to them, the 12 team, and Steve, thanks again for allowing me to come out and be a part of this tonight. It was a lot of fun, and man, can't wait for the next few races coming up.
Yes, sir. Rockingham next week, folks. Keep in mind, go and check out Derek's podcast. I know he's humble enough not to mention it, but the All Things Go podcast, anywhere you can listen to podcasts and music. I don't know, Spotify, where else? Google Music, Apple, all the things. Go and check them out.
Nailed it.
But great stuff right there. So, yeah, Thursday, folks, be with us at 8 o'clock Eastern Time for the Extreme Graphics Cup Series. That'll be Thursday night at Watkins Glen. Some great racing there. And then we're off next Monday for Nora Trucks. So we'll come back after that next Tuesday for the ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series here at Rockingham. So more racing coming up this week. We'll see you then. But for now, folks, have a great night. We love you. Appreciate you being here. Hit all the buttons. The like button, subscribe button, dislike button, whatever you want. It's all good. Hit them all. Have a good night, folks. We love you. Take care.